Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you why you are here tonight. My name is Arik Jackson, better known as Morpheus. On tonight's call, what's up, everybody? This is the Young Guns representing Escape the Matrix and Retire Young. Welcome. We have Morpheus, which is myself. Neo, wave your hands. Neo, can you hear me, Neo? There you go. All right. Let me get Trinity right now. Wave your hands. And then we also have our boy Tank, who's running the ship, making sure everything is off the charts. Listen, you guys, we're gonna have an amazing conversation tonight about what it is to escape from the Matrix and what the Matrix may be for you. I'm wearing the glasses, you guys, tonight, just to show a little Matrix love. But before we get into any of that, y'all, I want to introduce this fabulous panel who's going to be talking about how to escape the Matrix and what that really means. Like, what does that really mean? So I'm going to start with, I'm going to start with Neo. We call him Brian Man Wonder. They used to call him Boy Wonder, but he's been snapping off and he's escaped the Matrix and he has just totally, like, I can't even begin to. He went Neo style. Let's just put it that way. So, Brian, I'm gonna turn the floor over to you, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm just super excited. A lot of great stuff going on. I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, to not have to wake up in the morning, go to 9 to 5s, or I mean, it's just a great feeling to be able to wake up in the morning and not really have to leave the house to go and drive anywhere, but just to be able to, I mean, just to enjoy your day, just to get up and do what you want to do for once, not have to like answer to like any bosses or answer and ask permission to do the things that you want to do, but just be able to have that time and freedom together. Now, my name is Brian Cannon, obviously, Sacramento, California. I've been full-time from home since May of 2012, and what we want to do over the course of this hangout, if you stick with us over the next 20, 30, 40 minutes or so, we want to share with you a way. We want to expose to you how we've been able to actually implement and kind of detach from the laws of society, sort of escape the matrix, and be able to do things in a way where we've been able to just kind of just break all of those the laws of society where what you think is normal, what we've been able to do is we've just been able to kind of move away from that. And prior to getting started with this community, what I was doing before was I was actually doing a little bit of telemarketing, and I was just like cold calling and pre-framing next day's solar sales, and so I wasn't really that good on the phone, and just like over the course of like about less than 2.5 months, I wrote my own script. So I put myself in the #1 spot in the leaderboards. I was making more money than everyone else on the floor. Middle of May, I was actually recognized for Impact Player of the Month. But the reality was I was a 2-time college dropout. I dropped out twice with 5 Fs and 5 Ws. And the last job I had before that, I was working at a legal office, so I really couldn't make more than $14 an hour. So being a 21-year-old kid, dropped out of college twice, couldn't make more than $14 an hour. I needed to find something. I needed to really prove others wrong, because the truth was friends, family, people looked at my situation, my circumstance. They told me that if I didn't kind of just suck it up and go finish the college route or join the military, there wasn't really an out for me. And what we want to do here is we want to show you that there is an out. There is a way that we've actually broken through, a way that we've actually become free, a way that we've actually been able to not only detach from society, but also take others with us and actually do things in a way where it's kind of like you just get to like you just get to just enjoy the freedom. You know what I mean, AJ?
Yes,
I
I
mean,
do.
I'll turn it back over to you at this point. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But I just want to just share it. It's amazing. It's one of the amazing feelings that we have being able to do this.
Yeah, I love that you point to freedom, because definitely it is something that you get when you escape the matrix. And I know all of us have a story around just having freedom in our lives that we didn't have before escaping from the matrix. So that's definitely, I definitely have that down as a point of topic. Y'all, listen, I don't know what's going to fall out my mouth tonight, but it's the joy of escaping from the matrix. just the beauty of being one of the young guns of the Dream Team, the community that Brian talked about a little bit earlier, that has really impacted your life and how it has impacted your life?
Well, see, the matrix actually comes in different forms. Sometimes we just don't know better, and that's what gets us stuck in the matrix. Now, we have to think about how do people get out of there. And what really happens when people join this community, even how I've changed just over the past month, I started doing another marketing projects. I think it was It Girl Success Marketing, and now I've gone in a total different direction. I've added Colton to the group, the Spiritually Rich group, and it's a community for people who are spiritually conscious, but they're making changes in the world, because you can be spiritual, but it's not cool if you're broke. It's not cool if you want to be an enlightened one, if you want to be like Nero. But if your wallet's broke, you have to be able to be helping others. It's not just about you keeping money for yourself. It's really about sharing it and just learning how to be a kind, loving person, and that's like what empowerment is really about. So when we discover this information, of course, we have the choice between taking the red pill or the blue pill. And that is where the people are the decision makers. And you guys are the decision makers because you really decided to take the red pill. You decided to change your life. And that's how I've always lived by that philosophy. I've traveled all over the world. I've been to 15 countries. I was practically living that style already, but it's not easy when you're doing it by yourself, and it's just amazing to meet other people that are doing the same thing. So that's what I have to say, and we're going to get into the concept of the matrix later on in this discussion.
Awesome. I don't know about you guys, but for those of you who are watching, you can see we've only had 2 people speak so far, and just the concept of the matrix is really starting to open up. Brian pointed to the freedom, and now we have Sasha that's pointing to the spirituality. So spirituality of it, and both of them are pointing to the community. Which, you guys, is it okay if I call our community right now Zion? Is that cool? Since we're definitely in the mode. I thought about it. I was like, now the only thing for those of you who are watching and those of you who are Matrix fans, the one thing you will not witness on this hangout is if you saw the second Matrix where they were all dancing and they were all getting sweaty, and we're not gonna go there tonight. Okay, so no clothes.
That's in Chicago.
Okay. See, now people are really going to want to join the community because they just want to get in there, get sweaty, and drop it like it's hot, pick it up like it's burning. And we're going to move on to Tank. If you guys have not figured it out by now, we are definitely a community that is full of life, and we love to have fun, who definitely are all about making a difference in our own lives and impacting the lives of others. So we're going to move on. Felicia, I just see you join. What's up? How you doing? Look at us.
All right, how y'all doing?
We just done talked about, having the scene, or not having the scene, but doing the scene from Matrix where the people were dancing, the second one, and they were getting all sweaty. They were celebrating. We're talking about how we're not going to do that on this call. Okay. Okay. So, just forewarning, just in case you came ready to, throw your hair because it looks like you got it all done and stuff. Okay, see, look at you. Look at. All right. Tank, Colton, man, you got the floor. It's up to you, man. How's it going tonight?
What's up, Morpheus?
I'm doing well. Let me get my glasses back on. There you go.
There we go. All right. My name is Colton Bridges, the Tank for tonight. And to warm it up before my story, I'll say a very famous line in the Matrix for y'all. But let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you can feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there is something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind driving you mad. It is that feeling that has brought you to us. And that's this group right here. So, I'll start it off with that. But like it said, there's something out there for all of us. Freedom. We got spirituality. Mine went to a whole new different type of, I guess, lifestyle and mindset as well, because a lot of you, before I found this group, at 17, I joined the Army so I could go to college, because, you know, we all think that's how it's supposed to be, and I didn't have the money to actually go to college. So my option, or the only option I thought at the time, was joining the Army Reserves. While in the Army Reserves at 19, I deployed to Iraq, and while in Iraq, we'll throw it with the splinter, but the splinter hit in the back of my mind because I felt trapped. I didn't know what to do. I felt like I was taking orders for the rest of my life. I didn't feel worthy. I felt trapped. And I felt so trapped to the point to where I went into a deep and dark depression. I'll be totally honest, it was a suicidal depression. I got over it to a point, the cloud came down, and came back home, and I started spending my deployment money, and I found myself living in my truck. And there, I made a decision that I will no longer work for somebody else. That decision was made because I found out, even in the Army, after they don't need you, you could end up where I was in living in a truck. And my only other decision then was, well, let me get back to what I first tried to do, and that was college. So I went to college, and you know, I'm going through the motions, going through the semesters, but then I kept hearing how you need to sell yourself. This is what your employer looks for. I actually got in trouble in one of my classes because she said, this is how you sell yourself to an employer. And I was like, what is this, slavery? Yeah, I got in trouble with that one, but I walked out. But it's true. You shouldn't sell yourself. You should be in control. This is what a big part of the Matrix was you didn't want to be a slave. You want to get out. That's what we're talking about today. And once I found our group, and you see some of us down here, that brought a whole new meaning to life itself. I drove down 18 hours to one of the events, and from there, I saw the freedom that Neo is talking about, Brian, and the self-development. And it actually pulled me out of that depression. It took that splinter out of my head because I made the decision to work for myself. I made the decision that I need to take control of my life. And that's what we're doing now, and this is what we're getting in our heads. But back to you, Morpheus. I talked enough right now. We got to keep this rolling.
Oh, no problem, Tank. We appreciate it. You know, thanks for keeping the ship rolling, and have that, what is it called, the EMP, ready to go, you know, just in case we got some sentinels coming down. Sentinels being doubters, haters, all of that. Yes, for those of you who are watching, who are looking to find fault in this whole conversation, yes, you are a sentinel to us, and we have an EMP ready for you. We will shut you down. All right, so we're moving on. Felicia, I'm getting ready to turn it over to you, and basically, you know, just tell us who you are, you know, what has you be a part of our community, and, you know, like, what is the Matrix for you? Like, we've heard people say, you know, when it comes to the Matrix and what this community has offered, it's been around spirituality, it's been around freedom, it's been around a whole new lifestyle. So, like, what is that for you? And I'm just going to turn, what character are we going to name you? Who was Jada Pinkett? What was her name? What was her name?
I'm about to look it up.
Look it up, because I'm telling you, Felicia definitely has that ride or die, you know, chick, you know, thing going on. She holds it down. You know, if I get caught in the dark alley with any female, it would be Felicia. Let me just say, you know, so Felicia, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Eric. Well, although I've never seen the movie The Matrix, I will go ahead and share my story with you all. And as you all know, my name is Felicia Tucker, and I'm from Luthersville, Georgia. I'm 26 years old, and I got I was in, I guess, like, I don't know, I was confused and just not, I haven't found my purpose up until like last year, and it was just a miserable journey. And I'm so happy that I met my family, the Young Guns and Eric and just Tracy and everybody, because they have truly helped me to find my purpose. But I was confused, and just like Colton said, I was thinking that college was the way to go, because that's what everybody told me, right? Everybody painted the picture that college was the best thing, and I knew that it wasn't for me, so I had to find something different. And I'm sorry, I just got on, so I'm not really sure where to go with this, but I'm happy right now, and I'm just glad that I found a family just like these people right here on this panel.
Well, that's perfect. What you're speaking of and what you're pointing to is definitely the love of the community, connecting to a community. And just for the record, I know you haven't seen it, and I feel like I should just go on Amazon.com, get your address, and just send you the trilogy, because when you see Jada Pinkett Smith's character, you're going to understand what we're calling you. Did you find her name yet, Colton? No? Keep looking for it, because that's going to be her new name.
What's the actor's name?
Jada Pink. How do you not know Jada Pinkett Smith?
Maybe someone in the chat can just leave a comment.
If you are watching us on YouTube, tell us the name of that character. What is her name?
It's on the first one, right?
No, she comes in on the second one.
Oh.
Now, Felicia, this is how cool it is, because we're just gonna take it there just for a quick second. This character and Morpheus, myself, had a little thing going. Not saying that we have a little thing going, but we kind of got a little thing going. So we're gonna go ahead and move on, you guys, because I'm gonna be really crazy right now. But before we go any further, you guys, I want to tell you, you've heard the term Young Guns used on this call, and it's definitely very dear to the Dream Team. It's a group of individuals who are between the ages of 18 and 25 who are definitely out there not talking about it, but literally being about it, and literally having the life that they want, and literally, doing what it takes to make it happen. So I'm just going to keep it real. I am not 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, or 25. However, just to give you a little bit of background about myself, the Young Guns are very dear to my heart, because what I do, and actually it's my chosen career, I travel the country and I work with teenagers, and I also work with Young Guns to really let them know, listen, if you have a dream, you can go after it, and here's how you do it. Literally, I just got off the road 7 o'clock this morning from a 10-day tour, speaking close to 5,000 students, and literally having an impact in the lives of these students. So this is what I do. This is what I love to do. I'm a 5-time published author, and connecting with this community that I have been a part of. Listen, I've been part of different seminars and different things that definitely improve who you are as a person, but nothing compares to and nothing matches what I have come across and being a part of what we're calling Zion, this community, which is definitely it's had me escape from the Matrix, and definitely has me on the verge of retiring young. And that is the plan. I don't know about you, but it has to be a great vision to retire at a young age and just do whatever the hell you want to do, when you want to do it, and who you want to do it with. So that's what I'm going to say. So you guys, I want to open this up just for a few, just take a look at a couple of things. First of all, one thing that one of the scenes that's very well known in The Matrix, which is a part of like the beginning of escaping the Matrix, is when Morpheus has a conversation with Neo about you can choose the red pill or the blue pill. And looking at that, like when I look at that overall, I really see an opportunity for choice. So if you guys are watching this conversation that we're getting ready to embark upon is literally, you can look at it as the red pill, look at the conversation, be done with it, go back to life as usual, or take the blue pill and begin your process of escaping the matrix. So is there anyone who wants to say anything about what it was like for them to escape the matrix, or what does the matrix really represent for you? For me, I know it represents anything in your life that's holding you back from being the person you see yourself being, not the person that your mom or your dad told you that you should be, or not your college professor, but really the person that you see yourself from being. So I'm going to open the floor up to you guys, and we're just going to, really ride this thing and rock it out. And we definitely, for those of you who are watching, make sure you stay to the end of this, because we have some information for you that will give you access to a video that is powerful, and is definitely going to be something that you can do to make sure that you start the process of escaping the matrix. So I'm going to open the floor. Who wants to jump in right here? I'm going to shut up. If you guys can't tell, I speak for a living, and I get checks for it, and I love it. But actually what I'm doing, and just so you guys know, none of us on this panel right now are being paid to do what we do. On here, we're actually doing it because we want to make a difference for someone. No, we're not getting a check for, saying, come on here and say, oh, be a part of our community. We're doing it because we know the power of this community. We know what this community has to offer, and we're not selfish. We really want to share it with everybody else. Okay, so I promise I'm shutting up this time. Okay, so who'd like to take the floor?
I wanted to comment.
Okay.
Okay. What I was speaking about earlier is the idea of the matrix. It comes in different forms. There will be matrix in form of the spiritual for some of us, and there'll be the basic matrix, which is the form of money. Often people, when they look at money, they don't like it, not because it's not good, but it's because they don't have it, versus embracing it and sharing it, the community about it. It's the people that you see that are the wealthy, people that you see that are riding in their yachts and they're just living the life. That is one form. So they've discovered that secret to be able to live that life. And they've escaped the matrix. They've discovered. And that's what this community is really doing. And to be wealthy, you don't have to be you don't have to be Bill Gates. You don't have to be talented. You just have to be you, because you really matter. And it's your voice that really matters. And when you develop that voice and you've decided, I'm going to take a stand for what I believe in, that I don't believe that we were meant to be enslaved. Because what's interesting is that, for instance, in the Jewish tradition, this week is the week of Passover, when Moses freed the Jews. And it's interesting, even though it says in the Bible the idea that he freed the Jews, some of us are enslaved today, because slavery is really in a different form. We're enslaved by taxes, we're enslaved by peer pressure, and these are all different forms of the matrix. So when we decide to really embrace who we are, and we're going to take a stand and love ourselves who we really are, we're not going to put up with it. And just deciding that you're good enough for you, you've already taken a stand, and you're in the process of escaping the matrix. Now, if you're one of the people watching this and you're going through depression, you're going through these difficult times, just by watching this, someone is giving you that red pill. So when you're watching this, you have the decision to take it, to change your life, escape the matrix, or continuing and take the blue pill. So back to you, AJ. AJ, do you hear me?
I had it on mute because I wanted to make sure everybody heard you. Sorry about that. So I love what you're pointing to. Like, you have a choice to escape or not. And if you are a young gun, if you're watching this and you're 18 to 25, or maybe you're just a young gun at heart, believe it or not, contrary to popular belief, you do have a choice. And you have a choice to continue on in the way, whether it's, what you were told growing up, or, I don't know about y'all, and I'm just going to give a personal story just real quick. So I remember being young, okay, and don't y'all laugh at me, okay? I'm not going to say my age because y'all ain't going to laugh at me. I'll wait to share with y'all when we get in Chicago, so if you decide to laugh, it's going to jump off. But anyway, y'all know I'm goofy. If y'all watching it, y'all know I'm goofy. But anyway, I remember growing up, And I grew up in a family, in a household full of women. Unfortunately, I grew up without my dad. And my uncles, like the male figures in my family, they were all laborers, they were all construction workers, mechanics and auto mechanics and things of that nature. And they were all like, okay, so what are you going to do when you grow up? And little did I know that even in that time, I was in the Matrix, but I wanted to get out. And for me at that time, the Matrix represented the viewpoint or the perspective that other people in my life had put on me and said, you have to live this way. And I remember telling them, I don't want to get dirty when I go to work. I guess you would call it prissy. I don't know what they would call it for guys, but I didn't want to get dirty. I didn't want to have to come home and be in the shower for 85 minutes just to get the grime off. And I remember being young saying I wanted to work in an office. And I remember them like literally talking about me. They were like, oh, you're a punk, you're a sissy, you're a fag, who would want to work in an office, blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. But it was something very pointing to what Colton said earlier in the quote. There's a reason why you know something is off, something is different. And even though they dogged me out and talked about me for a long time, I knew that there was something more for me, and I knew that there was something I wanted to go after. So going against all of my uncles, you guys, literally, like they talked about me, and I ended up working in an office. Now, what was funny, the whole irony to it is I ended up working at a law firm, being a business manager that specialized in labor and employment law. Now, why that's funny is because I was accountable and working with clients who were people like my uncle. Or my uncles. I represented them to make sure that they had everything that they needed as far as their pension, their retirement, and this, that, and the other. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because some of you watching this may be saying, okay, well, I don't know what the Matrix is. I think, it should go this certain way. Consider that if you have a viewpoint that will not switch, or you're so stuck in it that it doesn't even seem like a viewpoint to you, you might want to ask yourself, am I in a matrix, or am I stuck in a perspective that everybody has placed on me? By a show of hands, you guys, how many of you on the panel have kind of lived up to the expectations of others so much so to a point where you thought that's how you were supposed to live? Yeah. Okay, so it's like, Brian, you hilarious, man. I'm just saying. I see you, okay? So you guys, for somebody who's watching this right now, and somebody can point to this, for someone who's watching, what is the first step to escaping the Matrix? And then we're going to get to the juiciest part of the conversation very shortly about how to escape from the Matrix and retire young with some cha-ching in your bank account. Everybody just say cha-ching. Okay.
I was on
Cha-ching.
No problem. Thank you. I saw your lips moving. And by the way, Felicia, your name, we found out, is Niobe.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
I don't know what this means. I'm gonna have to watch the Matrix now.
I'm telling you, you have to. Let me tell you, she wasn't no joke. She's very much like you. Brian, wouldn't you say like Felicia is definitely a good character? Niobe is a good character for Felicia.
Yeah, it's so fitting.
It is so. You have no idea, Felicia, how fitting this is for you. I promise you. Like, get it on Netflix or something tonight. All right, you guys. So here's the question: what is the first step? And now I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to start playing devil's advocate now. What is the first step of escaping the Matrix? I'm new. You guys are talking about this community to be a part of. Like, what is the first step of escaping the Matrix?
Ooh. Can I go?
Go for it.
All right. The first step is a decision. That's all it is. A quote from Napoleon Hill: the worst of all human ailments is indecision. And how true that could be, because you could be thinking, oh, maybe I'll do this tomorrow, or maybe I'll do this the next day. Make a decision now. That is a first step. Because you could be like, a simple decision for you that you make every day is, all right, well, I'm going to make a decision to roll out of bed, so I can make a decision to go to work, so I can make a decision to get paid. Those are all decisions. So how about you make a decision to move forward in your life and actually do something that's worth more for you? That is the decision. Every tiny step, every inch and inch that you move forward on to make your life better, that's what begins. That's what began for me. I made that one decision that right now I'm suffering in depression and there's nothing going on. And here's this thing, this beautiful thing saying, here's the opportunity, but you have to make a decision. And I made that simple decision, and the power from that decision has done incredible things. It brought me out of depression. It's brought people out of, who knows, just the simple decision for you to move forward can just grow. But you have to make a decision. That is the first step.
Awesome, awesome. Is there anybody else who wants to add to that? Give something to supplement that? What is one of the first steps of escaping the matrix?
Here I'll go on that. I mean, it's one of the first things that I really believe is the first step is completely awareness, and it's something I talk about a lot is perception. And when you think about it, there's 4 levels of conscious competency that any person can go through. The first level is unconscious incompetency, meaning that you don't know what you don't know. And then the next stage would be conscious incompetency, meaning that you're now, that would be the first stage, now becoming aware that you may not know something because you don't know what you don't know. The next stage, moving into the next stage, would be conscious competency, meaning that you are now aware and you're now taking action upon what you now know, but it still takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of thought. It takes a lot of effort. And then what the final stage would be unconscious competency, meaning that it's just kind of like a habit. You do things the way, based on what you know, without trying to do it. It just happens. And so, like, I know you know, Adrian and Felicia and Colton, I study a lot about NLP, like neuro-linguistic programming, and it's just a communication and just ways of living. Like I study laws of attraction. So like some people will like look at that like, what the heck is that? Like you believe in a lot of mystical stuff. No, that's not what it is. I believe that there's certain ways that you can act and you can present yourself and that you can do to improve yourself to be able to start attracting things in life. And because I know we sort of dog on the college system a little bit and dog on like education, but the truth is education is really important. You always need to be focusing on education. You always need to focus on skill development, improving yourself and improving the value that you can bring to the marketplace, because ultimately that's what's going to actually return back into your life. And two of the presuppositions that I've learned in NLP is that perception is projection, and the map of reality could never be reality itself. And so what does that really mean, and why is that so important here? And what that means is, for something like this wall right here, this wall and isn't really anything different from the air that's around us, like the carbon dioxide, the oxygen, and it's really essentially all of the same. But how could that possibly be? Because it's a solid. I mean, you know, the air is like moving all around us, so how is it exactly the same? And the reason why is because there was a gentleman by the name of Albert Einstein who came up with MC equals squared, or E equals MC squared, or the formula. You know, see, I dropped out of college, you know. But it's like the formula for energy, right? It's the formula for energy, meaning it's proven everything is energy. So why does the wall look different from the air, look different from anything else around us? And if you think about it, if you got a microscope and you broke things down on the smallest level possible, you'd find that everything is, in fact, energy. But the difference is really how fast and how slow the molecules vibrate. Obviously, this is a solid because the molecules vibrate so much slower. The air around us obviously vibrates so much faster. And so why do things look the way they do? And really it's our perception of how that energy is moving, really. So our perception of the energy is what it is. And so the reality, or the map of reality, can never be reality itself. You've got to aware that there are some things that you don't know. It's kind of like if you drew yourself in a box, like you drew like a stick figure, or maybe you could draw like a regular person, because, I mean, if you draw better than me, and you drew like a box around that stick figure, everything in the box is everything that you know. Okay, so this is kind of like living in the matrix. What you've been trained to do by society, what you've been trained to do by friends and family, and basically the world around you. What you need to realize is that everything outside the box is everything that you don't know. So how do you get in the know? You have to figure out some resource, a person, or some type of exterior object that has a bigger box than you do, a bigger frame of mind, so that way you can get exposed to the possibilities that there is something that you don't know, because you don't know what you don't know, and awareness really is the first step. And so that's really what we're doing here on this hangout today. We're presenting you with that bigger box. We're presenting you with ideas and concepts that may contradict what society has been telling you, what you may have grown up with, because there are easier ways, there are easier alternatives to live your life and be able to do so in a way that you actually have more freedom. And so what we want to show you how to do is actually detach, how to detach and basically flip your perception on what really exists.
You know, okay, see, this is why you're called Neo, because you just really took us there. So, you know, but you know what, you point to something so great, and I don't want to look over it, but you kept saying the word perception, and I think a lot of people feel like their reality, that like that's it. There's no other way, there's no other difference, and that's to me, being plugged into the matrix, because you're just kind of locked in and like, this is how I was raised, this is what I know, it can never be any different. So I want to do an exercise with everybody real quick, and Felicia, I'm going to be coming to you with a question in just a second, but everybody, if you can, and especially those who are watching on YouTube, who are hanging out with us tonight, by the way, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. You know, we know that there are other things that you could have been doing tonight, but that you're even interested in this conversation and that you're hanging out with us, you know, snaps up to you, okay? And we promise you will walk away from this hangout with some value. And here, if you haven't got any value yet, I'm going to give you something now. Everybody, take your right hand and kind of like point in the air. Okay. Colton, you crazy. What's that? Q-Dog? What is that? Okay. All right, so, and you might not be able to see us all the way, but take your hand and like just shoot it straight up in the air. And then I want you to kind of look at the tip of your finger, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but there's a reason why. Sasha, get that hand up, girl. Don't be scared, okay? There you go. All right. So what I want you to do is actually take the tip of your finger and start drawing a circle going clockwise, okay? Start drawing a circle going clockwise, and then I want you to slowly start bringing your arm down, but still keep drawing that circle. And if you need like a reference point, look at how I'm doing it. Okay, and bring it down below your chin like this. Keep turning it. Bend your elbow, Brian. There you go. Bend your elbow, Brian. There you see how I'm doing it? See how we all get it facing up, Brian? Okay, Neo, you scaring me. I feel like we playing the karate scene right now. You getting beat up by Morph. I'm beating you up, okay? But now, take a look down, you guys. And my question is, what direction is the circle going? Is it going clockwise or counterclockwise? Okay, Felicia, it's going counterclockwise. So, did we change anything?
No.
No. So let's do it just real quick for everybody, because I know somebody.
How did that happen?
Right, somebody is standing in the kitchen like freaking out right now. Okay, so everybody, just real quick, do it clockwise again, just to make sure, just so I can prove it. And this time, Neo, keep your arm up, man. Don't be pointing at nobody. Okay. Now bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. And what direction is it going in? Counterclockwise, right? So here's my question. What changed?
Your perception.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is your perception, just the way you looked at something. So here's the reason why I brought this up, you guys. Before we go any further in this conversation, it is important that you take a moment to begin to look at what we're talking about differently. We're probably going to say some things that's going to push the envelope with you. We're probably going to introduce you to some things that it's probably going to be like really going against what you grew up with. Listen, if you're 18 to 25, listen, you're probably just getting out your parents' home, or you're still there, or you're like, oh gosh, or college is hard, or this just isn't for me, or I love college, but I have to work a part-time job because I didn't have enough money, whatever that is. From this point forward, I'm asking and inviting you to shift your perception just for the next 20 minutes. That's all, because you can listen to us from thinking you know it all with the cup full, meaning we can't give you anything else to pour in, or you can come with an empty glass. Okay? So, Niobe, question for you. I'm sorry, Felicia, since you're not that familiar with you, the girl, you better, before I see you in Chicago, you had better have watched that movie, okay? I'm just saying.
I will. I'm not a movie watcher, so I haven't watched a lot of movies.
Okay, what did I just say? Shift your perception.
Yes, I am, and I'm gonna watch.
Thank you. Okay, so Niobe, Felicia, check it out. Why would people want to escape the Matrix, or better known as the usual humdrum of everyday life? I have to go to college. I have to be $75,000, $100,000, $150,000 in debt with student loans. I have to do it the way my parents say do it. I have to. What would be the benefit of escaping that whole mindset, do you think?
Well, as for me, it was just having a sense of, how can I put this? I mean, I just always wanted to do something that I wanted to do, right? And so the benefit to me is just having a peace of mind, being happy with whatever it is that you like to do, right? And so if you are happy with what you're doing, then it doesn't matter how much you're getting paid. It's the fact that you're happy. And I believe that being happy leads to living a healthy life. And I feel like everybody should be able to live happy and have a healthy life without having to go to the 9 to 5, or without having to be stressed out with schoolwork. You know, yes, we are told that we should go to school and, you know, go to college and just stay in college for forever and pay the student loans and be in debt. But being in debt and taking out those student loans cause stress. And I feel like we shouldn't be stressed, you know, and that's not how it's supposed to be. So as for me, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, because I mean, I posted this on my Facebook page the other day that I'm glad for what I do, because I don't have to listen to anybody anymore, because I really do have a problem with taking instructions. I don't like for people to tell me what to do.
Keep it real, Niobe. Keep it real.
It's the truth. And I feel like everybody should have that privilege. You shouldn't have to wake up in the morning if you are not a morning person. I'm not a morning person, so I don't want to wake up early. I like to wake up at noon or later. So, you know, I just feel like that's the benefit, just having that freedom, and, you know, to be able to have everything you want and then some. It's just all about happiness. It's not about money or anything like that. It's all about being happy and being able to spend time with your family. And so to answer your question, that is the benefit. That is the benefit of escaping the Matrix.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. And you point to something, you know, you guys listen, I'm just going to break it down for you guys now. Now, some of you are watching this and you may be saying, okay, you're talking about escape the Matrix. When are you going to get to the retire young part? Like when, I mean, I want to retire young. Listen, by show of hand, listen, and if you're watching us on YouTube, listen, if you have any comments or questions or anything like that, please let us know. Like, jot something down. Say Morpheus, you sexy, or tell me about this how to retire young. Listen, this is how Young Guns do it. Listen, we believe in living life and living a life that we love. So if you're somebody who's looking to do that, is there any, I could definitely introduce the community that we're all talking about, but let's see, I'm going to turn it over to Brian. Neo. Now, Neo, you made me a little bit nervous earlier when you was doing a little arm thing, so I'm going to give you a second to redeem yourself. To redeem yourself. But listen, what is this community, and how could this community help us retire young? We want to know. The people on YouTube, inquiring minds, want to know. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Brian.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one of the things that moving into this community because what was the first step? The first step was awareness, realizing that you're in the matrix. So what was the next step for me? What was the next step for me? Well, the next step was, because I realized that I now was living in the box, I had to figure out, how do I potentially move outside the box? How do I start to expand the box? How do I start to expand my frame of mind? And here I was working in a telemarketing job. Again, I mean, I've been there for about 3 months. The first 2.5 months, I got in the #1 spot in the leaderboards. And then from February 20th, when I first started, to about the middle of May, I was recognized for Impact Player of the Month for the month of April. And after receiving that award in the middle of the month, I realized, well, if I'm making more money than everyone else on the floor, which really ain't a heck of a whole lot, because if I'm not making more than $2,000 a month, then what's everyone else making? If I'm just like super, not necessarily like depressed, but just super, super unhappy, like making all of these cold calls to like people who just did not want to talk to you, who were just calling you every single name in the dictionary and outside the dictionary, it was just funny, because I realized, well, what the heck am I doing it for? Now, I at first it was for some skill sets, but I realized I was in a place where I was kind of stuck. I was stuck in a place where I just didn't know exactly how to move forward. I didn't know how to because I for sure wasn't going back to college. I wasn't trying that a third time. I wasn't going to go to the military just because I didn't want to work for the government. I didn't want to land in the same position that Colton was in, because Colton went to the military to go to school. And Colton, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they take that away? Was it like March 8th? March 8th, people in the military or the Army and the Marines, they took that away. So what's the point? Like, you know? So the next step for me was just quitting that day a few days later, and actually taking a road trip to Atlanta, Georgia. So keep in mind, I'm from Sacramento, California. I actually took a road trip to Atlanta, Georgia, because the night before, me and a buddy were just joking around. What do you want to do? You want to go to In-N-Out? You want to go to Buffalo Wings? And so somehow the idea of going to Atlanta had come up. And when you talk about something long enough and you bring it to the present, sometimes like your mind starts to make those connections on how to make it a reality. And that happened for us as well. How fast can you get packed? Could we rent a car? And we just got up and we left. Now, with the community that we have these we have these audios, and what these audios represent is people who make way more money than I do. They're people who think about money so differently. They think they've learned some skill sets that I wanted to learn, but just on a level that is so much higher than I could even think existed. And what happened was, throughout that 36-hour drive going to Atlanta and then the 36-hour drive back, I wasn't listening to the radio. I was listening to those audios and just refreshing my mind about, like, I was expanding my mind that whole time just through association by the ways that they thought, and also just clearing out everything else that I had thought prior to that. And one of the places that actually changed everything for me was coming down to this little city called Albuquerque, New Mexico. And if you can imagine driving from this like super big hill down into this super big city where it's like an ocean, where it ain't ocean of water, but an ocean of city, I realized where I was living in lack before, I was living in a place where I had restrictions. I realized that it's kind of silly, because there's abundance in the world and there's unlimited resources. And it wasn't just the drive from there and back. It wasn't just Albuquerque, New Mexico. It wasn't just Memphis and Nashville and actually getting to Atlanta and St. Louis, Missouri and Kansas City and Reno, Nevada and actually in Sacramento and all of the other places in between. It wasn't just that trip, because that was just a small part of the U.S. And that doesn't count for Canada, it doesn't count for Mexico, it doesn't count for all the Latin America, it doesn't count for Europe, it doesn't count for Australia, it doesn't count for pretty much the rest of the world. And where I realized that we've got a lot here. We've got a lot of abundance and limited resources. And so that's where I started to actually make the shift. That's where I started to make the shift that we deserve more. I started to make the shift that the majority of society is actually wrong, or like they're in a direction where they're not living to the fullest. And so upon getting introduced to this community, upon getting introduced to like you guys and also leaders like in this community that have actually moved forward and actually gotten results, not only with the system that we use and actually the community, not just with finances and also just mentality, but just growing relationships and becoming better people, I realized that it's not as hard as it's not as easy as a lot of people think it is. It's actually pretty simple, and it's pretty easy, and it's kind of like what Colton said earlier. It all starts with making a decision to do it. And what I want to do is I actually want to take this time to actually introduce the community that we're here with, and it's actually a community called the Dream Team. The Dream Team community. There's about a little over, correct me if I'm wrong, about 1,000 of us, in this community. Or at least like a little over that in the Facebook group. I don't know. I mean, probably more than that aren't even in the Facebook group. But it's just a community of people that are here on the internet that have learned some skill sets to be able to extract an income stream here on the internet from home, detached from time. Listen to that. It's detached from time. So if we could show you a way to actually earn an income stream here on the internet detached from time that pays you over and over and over again, how often would you be able to actually start producing in a way where you could keep creating that residual income? So what we want to show you how to do is actually do the work once. We want to show you some skill sets and use a system where you could actually create sales and also create essentially commissions. Create commissions from the internet where you're getting paid doing the work once over and over and over again, to the point where you reach your total expenses, so that way you reach time freedom. And so what happens after that? What happens after you reach time freedom? You go and create more of the residual income systems over and over and over again. So if you are on this line tonight and you are between the ages of 18 and 25, and you're wondering, how the heck do I do this? What is this community all about? You may not know what is really going on, maybe the products that we market, maybe the systems that we use. You might see a join page or some register now link, or you might see some add to cart button. You might want to actually hit that button and just get in. Because the reality is that there's a few of us here on the internet, the people on this panel, who've actually been able to actually retire from the corporate world and the ways that society really thinks that you should actually do things. We've been able to actually been able to generate income. For example, even for myself, I know Felicia's generated 5 figures. I don't know if she's already on the or if she's already left or if she's still on. Like I've done 23K in like 9 months as a 21-year-old kid who dropped out of college twice. Income disclaimer: if you decide to get in our system, if you decide to take action, you may not get any results at all. It's not a guarantee of income. But what we want to show you how to do is, if you are willing to follow the steps, follow the formula that we have, and actually take action within our community, we want to share with you a way that you can potentially reach the same time freedom, whether it be the same results or even more than that, depending on how efficient you work, how much you are willing to learn, how you are willing to actually expand your frame of mind to start doing the easy way, or start doing things the easy way, and start doing things the simple way, and start taking action in a way that actually is beneficial to you, because you might be working a 9-to-5 job right now, and what you may realize is that your time really isn't being used efficiently because you're trading time for money. In fact, you might be wondering whether you are working at a legal office, or you might be working fast food, you might be working like cell phones or whatnot, and you'll probably relate to the fact that there's usually a period of time within your business where there's like a busy hour, or like where maybe at lunchtime, like everyone actually goes into your shop or wherever like you're doing. So there's really only an hour, 2 hours, and 3 hours maximum, no more than that, where your time is being most efficiently used to producing work. And so the rest of the time that you are spending within that 9-to-5 is actually wasted time. What if we could share with you how to actually produce results in as little as about 2 to 3 hours every single day, and be able to do so in a way where you now have time freedom because you've been doing it long enough to actually acquire the residual income, so that way you can go live the life that you deserve. And if you're on the page right now, again, you might not know what the heck I'm talking about, but it's just like super like intriguing. Like what the heck is this guy talking about? Like he's at his house like 6 p.m. PST, 9 o'clock EST. He's over there talking about he doesn't go to work. He's a 21-year-old kid, dropped out of college twice, and makes money on the internet, along with everyone else on the panel. I'm going to make fun of AJ a little bit. Well, not really make fun of him.
Yes, you are. Go ahead. Come on, bring it. Come on, Neo. Come on. I got you.
No, I was just going to make fun of you. You ain't the 18 to 25, but you're I know like you're young at heart. But I appreciate like everything that you do. You go, you travel around the schools, like you get paid to actually communicate to other young guns about the opportunity and the things that they have while you're taking advantage of the opportunity yourself. And so you're someone who not just talks the talk, but you walk the walk. You're one of the leaders in the community. You're someone that I look up to. It's amazing what you can do here on the internet, and in a way where you get to make the most out of your time, and you get to actually impact more people around the world, so that way they can actually create that time and freedom as well. Because the reality is that someone like me, someone like Felicia, someone like Colton, someone like Sasha, and maybe even someone like you, AJ, where there wasn't really anything more. There wasn't anything more than making $2,000 a month and actually struggling for the rest of your life. And we all know the 40-40-40 plan is a joke. If you're like our age now in the 18 to 25, I'm pretty sure Social Security ain't going to be around in 4 years. So wouldn't it make sense, like, if you know it's not going to be around in 4 years, to actually take action now? Wouldn't it make more sense to actually retire, actually like detach from the matrix, retire now, as opposed to wait 40 years later and be like everyone else who fails and goes and works at Walmart? Wouldn't it make more sense to actually start earning an income detached from time, learn a few key skill sets? That way you can actually do the work now, as opposed to like struggling for the rest of your life. I mean, you know what I mean, AJ? You know what I mean, AJ?
I mean, you're definitely bringing, I mean, there's so much that you've said in here, and I'm definitely going to be piggybacking, but it looks like Colton over there is kind of burning a little bit. Like, you got something you want to share, man? Just come on and bring it. You got on the hat. Let's go. Let's go. Okay.
I just want to bounce off what Brian has to say, how it's a system that you can use. Before I even found the Dream Team, I had no clue anything online. I had no clue at all, and try to get it wrapped around some of y'all's heads. I used to work at GameStop. I was in that corporate place. I'll be nice, and I won't say my opinion on that. but what I did was I sell people games and the power-up cards. So that's where I learned how to sell a little bit. But anyway, think of it, if you're walking into GameStop, I'm going to give you two comparisons so you could feel better about this. When you're walking into GameStop, what do? You buy a game. And you come back to the house, and you might not even know how to play the game. That's how I was. I didn't know how to play the online game. Didn't know at all. But they give you 8 core commitments, and they just tell you, do this. So what did they do? They just gave me a controller. And I'm like, okay, I got a good bit of buttons. Let me go with it. So I just started going, and that's all they did. They said, hey, there is 3 steps to doing this, and that is you blog, you share it, mark it out, and you get money. That's a 3-button controller. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. So I did exactly what they did, and this is me not knowing anything about this game. Month and a half later, when I was in Texas, I got my first sale, and I had no clue. The only thing I did was listen. That's all I did. It was a 3-button process, if you want to call it that way, the 3 steps. And the other thing I'll wrap around real quick is when I worked at GameStop, I got paid by GameStop. I got paid by one source. But yet, you notice there's a lot of people coming into GameStop paying GameStop for the games, right? So right now, the decision that I made was, instead of me working for GameStop, I'm going to be GameStop. I'm going to get paid by multiple people for buying my games, which is the online thing. That's all it is. It's you learning how to go online. So instead of me getting paid by one source, you're getting paid by multiple people coming in. That's what it is. Instead of you working for GameStop, you are GameStop. Or for online, it's Dream Team. Your Dream Team instead of yourself. But I just wanted to point that out. You don't have to know anything. You might be new to the game, but we give you a simple controller, and the only thing you have to learn is play it.
See, Tank, you just... I don't even know what to say after that, dude. You pulling analogies and stuff. Oh, no, I know the answer to this, but I'm just going to ask the question. Who comes up with analogies around GameStop? I mean, seriously, a controller. I'm so going to use that when I go speak to some kids, you know. But listen, you guys, for those of you who may be saying, okay, you guys are talking about internet, you guys are talking about this. Listen, being a part of the Dream Team, one of the systems that you're offered is a viral blogging system. And this viral blogging system, listen, I'm going to put it to you this way. If you're on Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook is not paying you for your content. If you're on Twitter, you're not getting paid for the content that you're putting out on Twitter. If you're on LinkedIn, if you're on, give me some other ones, y'all, Stumble Upon, things like that, like you are not getting paid by those people to share what you're passionate about and just to say, hey, this is what I do. And for those of you who are a little bit intimidated by internet marketing, you don't even know what www stands for, it doesn't matter, because being a part of the Dream Team, you are literally given a step-by-step, fill in the numbers, paint the colors program that I have literally with my own eyes seen people, including Brian, including Colton, including Felicia, including Sasha, including myself, including Tracy, including Nicole, including Adrian, including a dude who wears a furry hat every time you see him, and he is turning it out. So I don't know about you, but if you're someone who's listening to this or watching this and saying, well, I can't do it, listen, if a dude with a furry hat on can do it, trust me, you can do this. It's easy, and it is off the charts. And listen, he is one of the most successful. I mean, maybe one day we're going to have him come hang out with the young guns, but he is one of the, I look up to him, and I know, Brian, you work closely with him. We call him Tom the Furry Hat Guy. Listen, man, if you're checking us out, peace. We love you, man. You're an inspiration. Know that. Hoorah. Okay, so listen, I'm going to turn it over to Felicia. Like, you know, what has happened since, for you, being a young gun, since you've become a member of the Dream Team community?
Yes, I was on mute. Sorry.
What's up with you on the mute button, Niobe? I'm just saying, you know.
Well, I'll just say this, you know, first of all, escaping the matrix means that you have to have some personal development, right? You have to begin to listen to things that will get your mind going in the right direction, because as Tracy tells us all the time, we've been filling our mind up with this junk for years and years and years and years and years, you know, 2 Chainz and Pink and all of that stuff. But you can't think that the switch is just going to turn automatically. You got to do something so that it'll change, right? And the way that I have been personally developing is to listen to audios that help me, and I've been reading. And those things are required. It's a requirement. You got to do those things. And I'll say that, as you all know, I was able to retire at the age of 25, and I would have never been able to do that had I not met Tracy in Atlanta and joined the Dream Team, period. You know, and I won't even just say that just joining Empower Network, but joining Tracy in the Dream Team, you know, connecting with all of you guys have really played a part in me being able to retire at the age of 25 after only being in this business for only 2 months. And I haven't had to go back to corporate America at all. I've been able to pay all of my bills and just, you know, not have to worry about any money. Yes. And I'm very grateful for that, because if I think back last year at this time, March 20th, I was stressed out. I was working, you know, several hours, extra hours just to make ends meet. I was killing myself. And now, you know, like I said, in the beginning, I was able to do this in just 2 or 3 months. I was able to quit my job because I was making this money. And sometimes it could be like a curse, right? Because I was successful right in the beginning. And now it's like sometimes I don't even work, but I still make money. So although I'm making 4 figures a month, I could be making 5 figures, you know, or even 6 figures if I still work as hard as I did in the beginning, right? So I just want to say that if you're out there and you're young, like we are on this panel, and you're frustrated like we were, and you just don't know what you need to do, or you don't know what your purpose is in life, I encourage you to start listening to those things that's going to help you develop personally. I encourage you to join the dream team where you have like-minded people who are going in the same direction, because in order to have something, in order to succeed, you have to leave those friends who you've been hanging. I'm not going to say leave your friends, but I'm going to say add more friends to your circle. Add those people like Tracy and Nicole and Brian and Colton and Sasha and Eric to your circle, because these people are going to help you. These people want to see you succeed. All right, so that's all I gotta say, you know, and I'm excited that I was able to retire. When I tell you guys, I'm happier than I've ever been. I mean, today my day consisted of going to play tennis. I did a few squats. So
all right, Serena. All right, Serena. Go ahead with your best self.
Yes, I did that. You know, and going to the place to give my little opinion about the little health thing around here in our area. So that's what my day consisted of, and I like to be able to do things like that, because had I had a 9-to-5, I probably would. As a matter of fact, I would not have been able to do those things. So make it happen, guys. Make it happen.
You know what, I'm sorry, Niobe, Felicia. So you're basically saying you retire young, but you put it so pretty. I wanna, can we get the raw version of it? Didn't you fire your boss?
I fired the hell out of my boss.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know about y'all, but I don't know if you have ever had, if you are working right now, I don't care if it's 9-to-5, 9-to-12, 9-to-16, I don't care. Some people on this, you're looking for a way to escape the matrix and be done with your boss. You know, listen, I was just in Phoenix, Arizona. And this is kind of a sidebar, but I'm going to bring it back around. I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and I was doing a leadership workshop with a lot of teenagers, and I broke down the 10 styles of leadership. And one of those styles was autocratic leadership. And basically what it was saying was like, that type of leader, that type of boss is the type of person who's going to say, do what I say do. If you don't, I'll fire you. I don't know about y'all, but it has got to be the most refreshing experience to fire your boss and look at your boss and be like, peace. And even for some of y'all, it may just be that you're working the job and your boss is great and your boss is wonderful, but you're probably in a situation where you're doing something where you know you're trying to make ends meet, but you know there's something more for you out there in the world. You know that you'd rather be, you know, out there making a difference in your community, giving your opinion about the healthcare in your city, working with some kids, turning around, impacting your family. Listen, some of you guys are looking for a way to make your family proud. And you know what? I'm going to tell you this. To make your family proud, live the life that you want to live by your own terms. And this, what we're offering you today, is an access to that. Don't overlook this. So I'm going to shut up because I'm starting to get excited. And y'all know how I get when I get excited. You know, it's going to be like Morpheus 6.75, and it's going to be off the charts. And we ain't got that much time tonight. So Sasha, talk to me. What is it about this opportunity that has like impacted you? How did it have you escape from the matrix? What has it done for you? You're on mute. We want to hear you. Come on, Trinity. We want to hear you, girl.
Well, what it has done for me, it really affects what you have to think about it. Even the blog. Looking, what is a blog, right? Most people are not heard as much, and we live in a society, and this is what has happened. See, I was raised in Russia. I was born in Chicago, but Russia is a place where families live together. Your grandmother lives with you. Everyone is close, and people are heard. And hearing your voice is even more important than just about the money. It's the idea of, I live in Florida, and like my life's just amazing because when I left Russia, we left with 8 bags. We left with $40,000 to our name, and we're now living in a penthouse. We're living the life we want of our design, which we didn't think it was possible before. And the thing is, I see these houses of fences and people living in these like big mansions, and there are 5 rooms and there's only 1 or 2 people, but no one's being heard. Everyone's in their own separate rooms, and that's what happens. Even looking at Facebook, for instance, people can be on the same room and they're, let's say, typing on Facebook, but they're not speaking to each other or they're not hearing each other. And what does the blog do for you? It really helps your voice to be heard, what matters to you, and for this community to really embrace who you are versus someone telling you who to be. Because sometimes we often just don't like who necessarily. We have a fight with someone and we're like, I don't like you anymore, and people are, instead of being like, let's take a look at it and we accept you for who you are. People can have their own views. People can have opposing. That's what makes you an interesting leader. Versus what you talked about, the leader, unless you do how I want it, that's not really leadership. That's being a boss versus a leader. A leader is in some way a student himself. A leader is someone who's constantly learning. Now, I was on a coaching call by Tracy Walker herself last week because I stepped up to the master's course, and this was like the $1 million lesson, and you got to hear this. The first lesson, a part of the escaping the matrix and retiring young, is focusing on what you want. Once you figure out what you want, and this is the lifestyle that suits for you, because some people like to be bossed around, and if you're one of those people, okay, if it works for you, that's good for you. I mean, you're still owning the job, but you don't have the right no longer to complain and blame it on someone else. So now I'm just pointing it out. You just made the decision. But if this is the design, the lifestyle that you want, you felt like you want to travel the world and be blogging, oh, I'm in Hong Kong or I'm in Russia, then this is the place for you. I want you to join this team because we want people like you that are, also another thing, people that are not making money or people that are struggling. This is a community for personality-based people. If you're a boring person, and often that's hard, like finding your niche, that we want you to be interesting. We want you to discover yourself. And that's what it's about. Some people are lazy. They don't want to work on themselves. And that's what a blog is. It's about having your voice heard. It means you have to know what your voice is about. You have to know what matters to you. And for that, you need to read. You need to follow the 8 core commitments. You need to listen to the audios. And you need to just blog and figure out who you are. Back to you, AJ.
Wow, Trinity, thank you for that. Listen, you guys have said so much, and for those of you who have not walked away with value, I want you to do something called a checkup from the neck up. Like, seriously. Like, because so much has been said, so many people have brought different sides of it. The thing that's so beautiful about the Dream Team is we are so many different people with different personalities, different backgrounds, different viewpoints, all after one goal. And that is having the life that we love with freedom, with a life of choice, and with a life of being able to help others unapologetically, like being able to do what it is, what we want to do, when we want to do it, how we want to do it, how often we want to do it. Yeah, I went there. So listen, you guys, we're going to go ahead and bring this in for a landing. And I'm just going to say this. Listen, what we're inviting you to is becoming a part of a group, a community, the Dream Team through Empower Network. To, the system that we use is a viral blogging system. You blog every day, tell others, get paid. And for those of you who are like, well, I don't know how to use the internet, I don't understand how to do that, I don't know. Okay, so stop crying and actually get connected. Instead of like being that dog who's sitting on that nail complaining about life sucks, life sucks, life sucks, life sucks. Instead of being that person, escape the matrix today. And the first step of escaping the matrix is, first of all, be aware that you're in a matrix. Be aware that you're complaining about life all the time. Be aware that you're choosing not to make a choice, which is actually a choice. And then also be ready to make a decision to change your life. Some of you all listening to us right now are on the cusp. There's something that has happened in your life. There has been a situation where you knew if you were financially free or if your mindset was in a whole nother place, you know that things wouldn't have gone the way that it has. So listen, we're offering you an opportunity to become a part of a team that is all about seeing you be successful. You know, excuse me, Felicia said something earlier about surrounding yourself around certain people. I want you to do something, and I love this. Actually, one of our mentors, somebody who we all look up to, his name is Tony Rush. He says, look at the six people who are closest to you and ask yourself, how much money are they making? And if you really want to know where you are in life, if you really want to know where your mindset is, if you really want to know what your bank account is ever going to look like, sit down, write out those six people and how much they're making, and then ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question, will I ever be able to have the life I want, and will I ever be able to retire young the way I want to? Listen, when you become a member of the Dream Team, one thing I love about Dream Team, everybody is touchable, meaning you can have a conversation. Listen, I had a conversation back in Austin, Texas with Tracy Walker, who is, you know, the most amazing leader. And when I say this woman is making bank, let me tell you how much bank she's making. She was able to get a Maserati just because she wanted to. I don't know about you, but that's pretty sexy. And if you're 18 to 25, I don't know, but that would just be pretty sexy if you're surrounded by people where you learn how to do what they do to be able to do what you need to do. So listen, it's your choice. Listen, I'm going to open up the floor for any last comments, any last thoughts, you guys, anything that you want to put in before we call this Matrix a close for tonight, you guys. So who'd like to say something?
I just want to say one.
Oh, see, we all excited. This is the beauty of Young Guns. We all get excited. You can't hold us down, and we're going to say what we need to say. So I don't know if y'all want to rock, paper, scissors over it or what y'all need to do.
Go ahead, Felicia. My sponsor, who I found an ad saying, hey, learn how to fire your own boss, and get right there. Yeah.
Yes. I highly promote that. Firing your boss, best thing I've ever done. But I want to say, AJ, because a lot of people are looking at us right now and they're like, man, these people on this panel are so smart. How are they doing this? I could never do that. I could never get on a hangout like that and actually interact with the people and, you know, just be free like they are. I don't know how these people are doing that. I just want to speak to you for a second. You know, like I said, back in March of last year, I didn't know anything about internet marketing. As a matter of fact, I didn't know that you could really make money online besides the little work at home job that I was doing that was paying me like $9.50 an hour. You know, I just didn't think that this side of the world exists. But I found out about it back in May. And like I said, I didn't know anything about blogging or anything. So if you're like me and you didn't know anything about it, I'm here to tell you that we have everything that you need. Tracy and the other leaders of the Dream Team have built up a site called the Ning site with steps 1 through 10. And when I tell you steps 1 through 10 saved my life, steps 1 through 10 saved my life. Because I didn't know anything about SEO. I was like, SEO? What is this SEO stuff that these people are talking about? But then when I went through those steps, I quickly learned how to do it, and I was getting ranked on the first pages of Google. You know, a lot of you have businesses, you know, maybe you're selling cars or maybe you do hair, and you don't know how to promote it. Well, that's what we're here for. That's what that's the material that we have in place for you. It's called marketing. You need to know how to market your business. Without the correct marketing skills, your business will go nowhere. And that's why a lot of businesses fail. So I want to encourage you, regardless if you know anything or you know everything, this is the business for you because you can learn and still earn 100% commissions at the same darn time. So that's what I had to say, AJ, and I appreciate you for letting me step out.
No problem. No problem. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for speaking to those people who feel like I can't do this. You can. You absolutely can. And becoming a part of this team, you will be surrounded by people who tell you that you can. All right, so who'd like to, Sasha, what about you? Any last comments, anything you want to add, chime in on?
I want to chime in on the Ning side. I've been speaking and connecting with other members of Empower Network, and some Dream Team members take it for granted, really, of what Tracy has created on the Ning, and she really is the oracle, because I was speaking to someone, and they were telling me how they wish they found me before they joined someone else, and we don't do hopping on other teams, we stick to who we join. And she said the leader didn't even develop the whole Ning side like Tracy did. And I was like, it's a shame she didn't join the Dream Team, because she really layered out all the basic steps, like a good engineer in some way does. And she gave all the videos that all on SEO. Now, if you buy the products of Empower Network, the trainings, she gives you on top the Ning as a bonus. Even that's a training alone. Like, just the site, the Ning could be a product. Yet she's giving it to you for free, and some people take for granted. And I want just to thank Tracy for everything she just has done it for us to make it easy. So that's all we have to remember is gratitude. And it's also the first part of escaping the matrix, of realizing there's this world of abundance and information. Back to you, AJ.
Awesome. Wow, Sasha, so well put. Thank you for that. Colton,
Okay.
Tank, better known as Tank.
I try to keep things quick, but I just get way too pumped up now. But just what, like, for y'all out there, like, what do you deserve? Like, you deserve the best, right? Who says you can't be the top? Who says you cannot bring your family to an empire? Who says you have to stay the same? Nobody is saying that. You have to make a decision. My family and I didn't deserve to put up with the bullshit that I had to put up with. But now it flipped around. It flipped to a whole different scenario where I'm like, you know what? I deserve life. Everybody deserves life, but I'm going to enjoy it to the fullest, and I'm going to maximize out on it. I'm going to bring myself up. My name and my family is going to be on the top of an empire. I'm sick and tired of laying low and living paycheck by paycheck. No, my family and I both deserve better. And I made a decision to do that. That simple decision that pulled me out of depression and has fought my way to say, you know what, my family is going to be on the top. My future is going to be on the top, where I don't have to worry about living by paycheck or anybody else in my family. My family deserves it, and so do I. And that's what you deserve right now. That is exactly what you deserve right now. And here's a quote, and then I'll let Brian finish it off. But action may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action. I took my action, I made my decision, and I came right through.
Wow. Neo, I'm gonna let I'm gonna let you follow that one, because I can't touch that one right there. I can't touch that one.
All right.
Wait.
I can't sing, but yeah.
Wait, all right, man. I'm sorry. You have got to give that quote one more time. I just feel like somebody really needs to hear that. So say that quote. Well, because I don't know about y'all, but I just got something that just touched me. So give us that quote one more time, and then Neo, it's right on you, man.
All right, I'll tell it one more time. It's by Benjamin Disraeli. But action may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action. Get that in? Feel it.
Click the frickin' link below. Okay, Neo, it's on you, man.
Yo, well, what I'm going to do, AJ, is I'm just going to go ahead and close this thing out here. We're almost about an hour and a half, and so I don't want to keep people on here for too long. I know we have the ability to kind of rant on and on and on and on and on, but if you're watching this video right now, I want you to pay attention, because this is very important. Obviously, you've seen that, or at least you've kind of got to experience and hear that there's a lot of value on the table. There's thousands of dollars of value that you can use here to implement to be able to make a decision to change your life. And so what I want to share with you is, back on the topic of the matrix, back on the red pill and back on the blue pill, one of the biggest things that I see a lot of people and the mistakes that they make is it's not that they choose one or the other, it's that they don't choose either of them. They just kind of sit back by default, and what I want to let you know is that's more dangerous than not choosing even the red or the blue pill, where you're choosing to kind of live in reality. I mean, it's okay if you decide to live in what is kind of your framed reality of not being able to help those in need, being able to be okay, be comfortable being uncomfortable with having the necessities and the resources, but being in pain the whole time. But as long as you have a roof over your head and you have enough to pay the bills each month, if you're one of those people that decide to live like that, then it's okay, because you've decided, you know that's what you want, and that's okay. And on the other hand, I mean, you can decide to actually go live your life and actually go for freedom and actually earn money detached from time. And what I want to share with you is what can happen is if you sit back and you don't make a decision on either one. And this is one of the things that happened to me. Now, this was back. It was back about a year and a half ago, about a year and a half to 2 years ago, prior to getting started with the system. And it's one of the reasons why I actually made a clear decision to actually chase freedom and actually go for skill sets. One of the reasons why I got the telemarketing job. And it was because I was here living at home. My mom had 2 vehicles. I had 2 vehicles. And we couldn't pay the bills. So she ended up getting both of her vehicles repoed. So we lost those 2 vehicles. I had the last 2 vehicles left. It was winter season. Now, I had a car and I had a motorcycle. I had to make a decision to sell one of the vehicles in order to pay the bills, put food on the table, in order to be able to make ends meet, because we're kind of comfortable living uncomfortable. And so come wintertime, I actually decided to sell my car over my motorcycle. Why did I do that? I decided to do that because I was able to save more money on gas. I was able to save more money on gas. So here I am in the winter season, driving through the winter storms, over the slick roads, through the gusty winds. And even with like my helmet, it wasn't like the best helmet in the world. I'm sure it's been dropped multiple times, but I didn't really go get another one just because I wanted to save on money, right? Well, that decision put me in a place and a position where I was staring a car dead in the face. I'm going one way, the other car is coming the other way. This car starts drifting over to my side of the road, and what I realized is I was on top of the car with no brakes involved. There was no brakes involved until after I was on top of the car, flying off. And so at the moment that I land, between where the car was and what was left of my motorcycle, landed right in the middle. I wasn't thinking about, well, I just lost my only vehicle. I wasn't thinking about that I had to be to work in the next morning. I wasn't thinking about I couldn't afford another vehicle, so what am I going to do now? I wasn't thinking about just being in a place where it's just like what do I do? Because like, I mean, I lost my vehicle. I might lose my job because how am I really going to get there? Probably have to start walking now. I wasn't really thinking about any of that. I was thinking about, I am grateful right now to be alive. I'm grateful right now to be alive because there was no brakes involved until after I was on top of the car flying off. Now, on the ambulance ride back, I said, Brian, was there any way that we could have changed the circumstance? Was there any way that we could have changed this situation? Was there any way that we could have avoided the accident? I came up with a couple ideas. First one, if I would have sold my car, or if I would have sold my motorcycle instead of my car, not saving money on gas, I could have avoided the injuries. I wouldn't have ended up in the back of an ambulance. I would have been okay. The other one was I would have purchased a faster motorcycle because I was driving a 2005 Ninja 250 carbureted engine, and if you know anything about those carbureted engines, there's a little bit of a delay when you pull on the throttle. That delay resulted in me not being able to get out of the way fast enough, so I ended up on top of that car. And if I would have did what I really wanted in the very beginning, if it wasn't for me thinking about money, I would have actually purchased a faster motorcycle, and I would have been able to actually get out of the way faster because there would have been no delay. And there's actually a couple other reasons that I was throwing around. I mean, my helmet, one of them, because I was being a squid, because I didn't really care about my helmet in the first place because it was dropped. I couldn't afford another helmet, so I was like, what's the point? I'm going across the street anyway, so I didn't D-link it. So on the moment of impact, the helmet actually came off. And so when I was thinking about all of these different factors that I could have changed the circumstance and kind of what actually happened, I realized there was one thing that was common among all of them: finances. And because I was broke, I was almost killed. because I was broke, I was almost killed. And I want you to think about that for a second, because you're probably in a place right now where everything is okay. You're comfortable with being uncomfortable. Nothing might have happened yet. Maybe nothing will happen. But what I want you to realize is that you don't have to wait for some drastic event in your life to happen before you decide to take action now. You don't have to hit the lowest point in your life, whether it be physically and going through a near-death experience, or maybe financially, going through bankruptcy, losing your job, losing your one stream of income before you decide, and there's no other option but to take action now. It doesn't have to hit that point before you decide to do something. And what I want to share with you is that you have a red pill and you have a blue pill. Make a decision, do one of them. Decide, know what you want to do, take action. There's probably a link below the bottom of this video. Otherwise, get back to the person who introduced you to this video, and if there's a register now button, if there's an add to cart, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that button right now, and I want you to fill out the form. I want you to get in, and then you'll receive a team email with the Dream Team community. You'll get inside the Facebook group. You'll get inside the community where you can actually hang out with the panelists, maybe even be featured on one of the Google Hangouts. Whether you're a young gun, if you're 18 to 25, or maybe you come in all in with us and you actually get featured that way, because it's kind of like buying your association. We talked about association before. How do you associate with people who have that bigger frame? And so this is the opportunity that you have if you have no skill sets, if you don't have a background, if you don't think. Again, it's perception. If you don't think you have any of those things, this is your opportunity now to kind of buy into those relationships, to people who can help you out, to people who can take you from wherever you are right now and take you to that next level, be able to actually pull you into the freedom, to be able to help you actually detach from the matrix. And if you're 18 to 25 now, even a little bit older than that, even if you are maybe 30, 40, 50, or even 60, and you still haven't retired because you're working at Walmart, this is your chance to hit the button right now and start exercising those commitments and be able to actually retire now. And with that said, guys, I'm actually going to close this thing out. And so, deuces. See you later, bye. See you later, guys. Peace out.